What is Tesla worth? If you were willing to sell it at $300 or $400 and you're buying it now, what is it worth in 5 years?
So Cathie Wood just went on CNBC, and this lady left Andrew Ross Sorkin completely speechless. Check it out.
The consumer is under pressure. There is, even though these economic statistics are coming out and saying everything's just fine, you listen to these company reports one by one, most of them do not sound like these economic statistics are suggesting. And I think Tesla's been telegraphing the high rates. They've been cutting prices to offset them. And they will continue to cut prices. So I think there's economic weakness. There has been a bit of a backlash, I would say, and a pause, because you do have GM and Ford saying, wait a minute, we're going to take a pause here ourselves because we can't do this profitably. By the way, that's a positive for Tesla, to have the competition doing this. And Tesla's just going full steam ahead. So I do think part of it's economic. And you can use all these other excuses. But if that is the case, what's going to happen, we believe, during the next 5 years, and that's our investment time horizon, we think the cost of an electric vehicle, the average electric vehicle, is going to be cut in half. And Tesla's new block manufacturing techniques and technology, along with AI, are a big part of this.
So look, I don't know if I trust mainstream media in general to ask Tesla-related questions and conduct Tesla-related interviews. But out of the entire set of potential candidates to conduct such an interview, I think Andrew is probably one of the least worst. And he didn't do a horrible job here, but let's talk about it. So Cathie Wood talked first and foremost about the fact that the U.S. consumer is under a lot of pressure, despite the great GDP numbers, despite the great economic situation on the macro. The individual investor is drowning in expensive debt, and that's why they're under pressure. High interest rates lead to more pressure on the consumers. It's just basic math. She's right. And honestly, that's not just a U.S. problem. Right now, everywhere, the interest rates are high. Whether it's the US or Europe or even China, we have BYD dropping 43% quarter over quarter. We have GM dropping EV sales by 20%. So nobody's actually having a good time right now. Consumers are not that excited to finance a new vehicle at this interest rate environment. Now, obviously, that's going to change towards the latter half of the year when interest rates in the US will drop, and consequently, they'll drop everywhere else. All the central banks in the world, they follow the lead of the United States. Once the Fed pulls the trigger, everybody else will fall in line. And globally, there's going to be more money to spend on consumer side, on retail side, on vehicles. Now, that's not going to solve the issue that Cathie Wood brought up in this interview, which is that as innovation becomes standardized, prices drop. When you are an early adopter, you're willing to pay a higher price. As you become a normal consumer, the price has to come down. So she is 100% right. Even after interest rates will drop, even after consumers will have an easier time in this economy, still the prices of EVs will have to come down and they'll have to match with the price of internal combustion engine vehicles. So she's 100% right on this. What I want to add to this point is that what she's actually implying here is a very interesting concept.
The average EV will be in the $20,000 to $25,000 range. The average gas-powered car will be about where it is right now, or a little more.
When you have the GMs and the Fords and everybody else saying we can't even make these things profitably to begin with, let alone to do it at half the price.
And just think about this. Tesla's doing it profitably.
What she's actually saying here is that every single OEM out there that's going to produce electric vehicles in the next 5 years will be forced to drop prices aggressively from this current price point in order to match the ICE vehicles. Now, nobody has the margins to do it. Everybody's living on this razor-thin margin. Most of them are losing money on their EVs. The only company that is profitably marketing electric vehicles right now in the world is Tesla and BYD. So BYD and Tesla are the only ones who are able to perform this maneuver of aggressively cutting prices and still making a profit. Maybe not as big of a profit per vehicle, but definitely survive this and still prosper. The other OEMs, the VWs, the Toyotas, the Ford, the GMs, they're going to be in the world of trouble and they don't have a solution right now. So they're trying to wage this psyop war against the U.S. consumer to convince them that hybrids is way better than electrics. I know you probably saw all these ads, all this pressure they put, all the, they paid shills to promote this hybrid thing as the next best thing. So they're pushing for a narrative change so they don't have to sell EVs. But it's like shutting down the internet. You can't do that.
Autos in the future will be electric. We believe in 5 years, 75% to 85% of all sales will be electric.
Because you see, at the end of the day, people would much prefer to have a vehicle that breaks down less, easier to maintain, cheaper to run, and it's actually driving a lot better than an ICE vehicle. I agree with their estimate that by 2030, we're going to have about 80% of sales of electric vehicles, well, about 20% left of the crazies who would still want to drive an internal combustion vehicle.
When it's been cut in half, down 60%, is not the time to run for the hills. If you believe Tesla is going to be, and this we also believe, the autonomous taxi network.
She's saying something very interesting in this interview. And she's saying, look, guys, the stock is down 60%. This is not the right time to sell. This is the right time to buy. And she definitely put her money where her mouth is. She just bought another $40 million worth of Tesla stock. And to me, what she did makes perfect sense because I always preach the same thing. Dollar cost average, buy at all times, but buy a little bit faster, buy a little bit more when you have weakness, which is exactly what Cathie Wood's been doing.
We're starting to think about Tesla again as a car company. I mean, I think that's what part of what's happened here in terms of the valuation cut. There's been people said at one point, oh, this is a tech company, right? This is an AI company. This is all sorts of things. And then there were always these bears saying, well, actually, guys, it's not that at all. It's a car company. Now some people are saying, well, maybe it's a car company. What is it? And for the valuation to sustain itself and actually to move higher, does it have to be what you just talked about, a robo-taxi company, a AI company, and all of the above?
I think the question was annoying. I think Andrew Ross Sorkin knew he's asking an annoying question, but he had to ask it. You could see on his face, he knew this was a BS question. She handled it like a champ. She basically said, look, guys, this is not exactly a car company. Why? Because we have FSD, which is tech, and we have robotics, and we have the robotaxi fleet, and we have the energy business, and we have the infrastructure of the superchargers. So to say that this is a car company is a very misleading statement. I think she was right.
It epitomizes the convergence among technologies that we are seeing today. And the robo-taxi network is not an if, it's a when. It's already happening. Waymo is out there, proof of concept. So it is going to happen. And if you've tried version 12.3 FSD, you'll see that Tesla...
This is the full self-driving mode that we should say is not fully self-driving just yet.
Correct. But if you drive, if using it, you will find that it is becoming... more precise, but also a little more aggressive like a human being would be instead of this, more cautious. So I think we're getting there, yes, but it epitomizes three technologies. Robotics, these cars are and will be robots. And of course, he's got the whole humanoid robot going as well.
But what I think she neglected to point out, and I'm going to add in this video, is that Tesla is not only one of the best software companies in the world, not only one of the best AI companies in the world, not only one of the best robotics company in the world, they're actually one of the best manufacturers, if not the best manufacturer in the world. We just don't get that. We have great manufacturers, such as TSMC. They're really good at producing stuff. We have great software like NVIDIA, which are fabulous. And then we have Tesla, which is a software leader and a manufacturing leader. We have never seen this before, ever.
This is the biggest AI project in the world. If NVIDIA if its valuation is correct, this AI project has to work.
What is Tesla worth? If you were willing to sell it at $300 or $400 and you're buying it now, what is it worth in 5 years?
$2,000. We're in print on that.
$2,000.
Yes.
Let me ask you another.
And think about that. It's down 60%. This reminds me very much of 2018-19. We're in a bit of a trading range, and we will be until more and more analysts, investors understand how provocative the convergence of these three technologies is going to be.
She basically said in this interview, guys, look, this is 2018 all over again. Don't you wish you had a time machine to go back in 2018 when Tesla was at peak negative sentiment and you can scoop up all these Tesla shares for cheap? Well, you literally have the same opportunity right now. She's literally telling you, hey, this is 2018 all over again. You have a second chance. The problem here is, unfortunately, that most retail investors are going to miss out Again, because they absolutely hate when a really, really good stock is selling at a massive discount. They just don't want that discount. I just want to pay more. Now look, I'm not going to be sitting here and saying that V12.3 of FSD is now fully autonomous and ready for robotaxis. It's not. It's a work in progress. It will probably try to kill you a few times if you actually try to drive it without any supervision. But this is greatness in the making. And they're really, really close. In fact, a lot closer than I thought, a lot closer than all the experts thought. The fact that this is now supervised and not beta, and the fact that it does the things it does, means that Tesla is getting way, way closer. So they're now the closest to achieving full autonomy, and they're running at the fastest pace than anybody else with the amount of miles they're creating, with the amount of compute they're generating. So nobody's going to catch Tesla on FSD. Don't even think about it. We're talking about a company here that dropped 60% of its share price over the past 3 years. At the same time, also increasing their net income by 1,600%. Not 600, 1,600, folks. So right now, it's selling for 35 price to earnings, which is not cheap. But NVIDIA is selling for 75 price to earnings, and people seem to love it. Now, Cathie Wood just sold a bunch of NVIDIA to buy a bunch of Tesla. Is it a good idea for you? Well, you decide. I'm not going to do that for you. Might be inaccurate, might be wrong, might be the realm of amendment. This is not financial advice. But when I look at this and I say, look, NVIDIA is currently at $2 trillion. What is more probable? NVIDIA going from 2 trillion to 4 trillion, doubling, or Tesla going from 500 billion to 1 trillion with everything they have in store? I think the answer is quite clear. I'll see you in the next one. Now, before I let you go, one little thing. The software I use to present some of the data in this video is called Stock MVP. I'm the co-founder of that software. It's a beautiful platform we built for retail investors, built by retail investors. If you want to try and check it out, it's stock-mvp.com. You can get 1 week for free to try it out and then consider if you want to sign up or not. We're not charging you a single dollar until you try it for 1 week. Now, if you want to join my academy, we have the ROIC Academy right now on the gold member phase. All the founding members are filled up. The first stage is gone. All those seats are full. Now we have the gold member tier. You're more than welcome to check it out. It's on our patreon.com/Tom Nash. Go right now and check it out. And join our free to join Discord, discord.gg/Tom Nash. We would love to see you there. We're almost at 10,000 members. Come join, come hang out with us. I'll see you in the next one.